Hey, Austin, how you doing?
Good. I'm real good, Trey.
How was your Christmas?
It was really good. I got some really expensive sports tickets over the break, and I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, because the person who bought them for me didn't use SeatGeek.
That was their mistake.
Yeah, if they had used SeatGeek, they would have realized that they do all the pricing comparison for them by searching multiple ticket sites and ensuring that they get the best possible deal. SeatGeek does all the work, and they would have saved time and money.
They would have.
Yeah, plus SeatGeek wants you to help them
They want you to help them do what?
Get the most bang for their buck.
I'm all about bang for my buck.
Well, you're gonna get a lot of bang.
Now, is there some kind of how do I, get these seats, these cheap seats on the SeatGeek? I don't own a computer.
We don't need a computer. Nor do you need a card. There's no building. You just need a mobile phone.
A mobile phone?
Yeah, you download the SeatGeek app and enter the promo code SUPER, and SeatGeek will send you $20 cold hard cash in nickels after you've made your first ticket purchase.
SeatGeek.
Download the SeatGeek app and enter promo code SUPER today.
SeatGeek. Build it beautiful.
I love you. Let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Super GamesCast 64. I am your host, Trey Mitchell. Today we got to my immediate front, Austin Guttery. How are you doing today?
Good. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, you too.
2017, right?
Yeah, it's a new year.
New year, new you.
Yeah.
New you.
Pretty much.
New you.
Yeah, completely.
Do you notice anything different about me?
Not at all, Trey. Why? What's different?
New year, new me.
Oh, it is a new Trey.
It is a new me.
It's a new year.
Uh-huh. That's how it works.
Hey, Trey, I got a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
Who's this handsome gentleman to my left
This
here?
tall, handsome, dashing gentleman is Darian McBrayer.
Such a sweet man.
Such a sweet, sweet Darian. So
An Irish
sweet.
name.
He is, yeah, it is very Irish. He's very, very tall and very Irish.
It's Scottish.
Whatever.
McBrayers.
McBrayer.
Darian McBrayers.
Oh, shillelagh.
In defiance.
Oh, the potato famine.
Trey, I have a question about the potato family.
Yeah,
Why didn't they just eat something else?
that's a good question. I think that was their number one cash crop. Is all they could grow.
Oh.
I'm a potato famine expert.
Oh, well, fuck me.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I'm really into potato famine experts.
Yeah. I'm into that history too.
Yeah.
So Darian here is a good friend of mine. He's been in a few of my videos. He's a UNT alum.
Whoa, we got 3 in the room.
We got 3, and we actually had 3 Norm Oh, actually, you were a bad radio intern.
That's right.
Ugh.
So we have 3 ticket interns in the room. I'm the connection between the 3 of you because I was a Norm and bad radio intern. You were a Norm intern, and he was a bad radio intern.
You don't know anything about me. You're just guessing. You're just projecting at this point.
Why did you get this guy on?
I thought you found him.
I
You went to Scotland and
I think
found
you have
him.
to graduate in order to be an alumni.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You did not graduate
Whoa.
UNC. You dropped
What
out,
happened?
and you disowned your alma mater.
Was it drugs?
Yeah, it was tons of drugs.
A lot of drugs?
A lot
It's
of
not that I
drugs.
didn't like UNT. UNT didn't like me.
Where'd you go? You just hit the streets after that?
That's right.
I had to find him.
Hustled cookies on the streets.
He was hustling sex.
Oh.
All the young women who wanted a tall man.
A tall Scottish man.
He's a very tall Scottish man. Sweet, sweet Darian.
Terrifying.
I'm doing an Irish accent.
Aye. Got the blisters on my fingers.
I've offended so many white people.
Yeah, we've offended all the white people. Fling white people into the sun 2016.
They're all Irish.
They are all Irish. Darian, what brings you here to this podcast today?
I don't know, Trey. You asked me to be on.
Well,
so I
Darian,
said,
we're going to
so
talk
I
about
said,
Pokemon.
So I said about damn time,
yeah.
and here I am.
Could you be a little more specific, Trey?
Well, we're going to talk about Pokemon Sun and Moon today.
Where can
That's-
I download this? What system is it on?
Well, it's on your mobile app. You
My
know?
SeatGeek app?
Yeah.
Your SeatGeek app. Right next to your SeatGeek app.
What's the promo code?
And right between your Game of War app is your Pokemon
My Age
Sun
of
and Moon.
Vikings.
Yeah. Your Arnold
Clash
Schwarzenegger
Royale.
thing and you
Mobile Strike.
Yeah. All that. Your what's the tapping one? The
Clash of Clans?
No, the one where you get all the money. You just tap. Tap, tap, tap,
Trey,
tap.
I have no idea
Neko
what you're talking-
Atsumi?
No, it's the one
Cat
where you
one?
make a lot of money. Capitalist, Adventure Capitalist. That's what it is.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's It's shite.
You ever
Hatsune Miku?
No, you just tap and you get money, and then you can like get upgrades. You just keep tapping, and you don't even have to tap. Actually, it just does it automatically. It's
sounds like
just
really fun.
it's horrible. It's the worst thing ever.
You ever played Angry Birds?
It goes into the drug. What makes video games addictive? It's just pure that.
It's the incentive ladder.
Yes, the incentive ladder, and just wanting more and more. Okay, well, if I just wait, I can get it's
It's like the Make
poison.
It Rain mobile game where you do
exactly,
that and then
yeah.
you'd get like an upgrade. You could do the money faster,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh well, I can do it a little faster by new upgrade.
Exactly, but it doesn't really matter how much you upgrade. It's all kind of have to be the same intervals. It doesn't really ever stop.
It's like video game heroin.
Yes, it is heroin. But you know what's not heroin? Pokemon, because that is sweet, non-heroin.
So sticky.
Totally different.
Totally different.
So this is Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon.
Yes.
Out for the Nintendo 3DS.
Nintendo 3DS.
This is the 7th generation of Pokemon games. The last release was X and Y in 2013.
13.
That was the first generation to not have a third title. Did you notice? There was no Z.
Yeah, I did notice that.
I was
you
kind
had
of
Black and White too.
Yeah.
But it didn't
Black
have...
and
Yeah,
White,
it
Black
never
and
had
White
like
too.
a
But
any
yeah, there was
sequels
no
at all.
there was no continuation
Yeah.
or third game at all.
You know what? I was cool. I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
Cool with it.
So
Yeah.
I kind of want to go into, because what I'm kind of figuring with these podcasts, and if you're listening, tell me if I'm wrong. I would love to get your feedback. You can find me at CrayTreyVids on Twitter. Is that I figure most people who listen to this are casual gamers who play, a few games a year, who like video games, who may not be too familiar with Pokemon, because I've listened to a few things at the station this year with Pokemon Go, and it seems that people forgot Pokemon was a thing, which I'll admit, honestly, during my dark period I usually talk about. Well, I mean, I knew there are other Pokemon games out there, but it just wasn't on the radar. And so I could obviously see why it's not on people's radars, because it's just not as big as it was in the early 90s.
Late 90s.
The late 90s, you're right. So I kind of want to take an opportunity to, acclimate maybe some of these more casual gamers, people who don't know much about the new Pokemon, into kind of what Pokemon is today. And so I kind of want to get, your guys' history with Pokemon. Like, where did it start? What games have you played? And, I mean, what's your, favorite games, whatnot? What's your history?
I started with, I had a Game Boy Color back in, I think I got it in 99. My parents got me red version back then. And all my friends had, red or blue or whatever. And so I started right at the beginning. Immediately, my favorite thing ever, and was way into it. And then Gold and Silver came out in 2000. I got Gold. I was way into that. I never got Crystal. And then I kind of fell off the map for that. First of all, I never had a Game Boy Advance, so I couldn't play Ruby and Sapphire, so I didn't play those. I didn't play Diamond and Pearl when it came out, but a few years afterward, I borrowed it from a friend on a whim, because I would go back and throughout
Diamond and Pearl were the remakes.
No, Diamond and Pearl were the
Fourth
generation.
4th gen. Okay.
I would, all throughout high school, I played Red version, and I eventually got a Game Boy Advance and played Fire Red version and Yellow with my friends, and that was kind of our bit through high school. But I never followed, what was coming out new. And so a few years later, in early college, I think, I grabbed a Diamond and Pearl from a friend and played it and really enjoyed everything they had changed since the Game Boy Advance days. And then when Black and White came out, I got into that. And then
that was when it got more story heavy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black and White had a very confusing story.
And it seemed like Black and White's story was the kind of the story everyone wanted with the Pokemon game.
Yeah, Black and White was really good.
Yeah.
It was almost completely standalone. They had only, you could only catch the Pokemon from that generation in it.
And I didn't realize that till recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started to turn into that. And that's the one thing I like about nowadays is that they've integrated all the old ones.
Yeah, so around Black and White, I've gotten whole hog back into it, and then I got X and Y, and was super psyched for that, and then totally pumped for this Bodacious release.
Bodacious.
I guess it's almost a month and a half now.
Yeah.
That it came out. I'm nearing the end of it. I like to take games a little more slowly. I know a few people blasted through the whole thing in 2 days. But yeah, so it's probably tied with Zelda as my favorite franchise. I can't decide. I had Pokemon Red as my top game when we did our top 10 games ever. Just by default, I guess it won. Yeah, so I'm way into everything.
Darian, you're more of a Nintendo guy in general. You honestly don't really play many like current games.
I'm still a Nintendo kid.
Yeah,
That's true.
no, I think we all are on this podcast. But you especially, it seems like all you do is play mobile games. Not mobile games. I'm sorry, handheld
I was
games.
to say I don't play
Yeah,
mobile games,
no.
Trey.
You usually play the handhelds. You're usually playing your Danganronpas and Patapons,
Advance
Yeah,
Wars.
Advance Wars.
I love the 3DS.
Yeah.
It's my favorite console ever. As far as Pokemon goes, I remember being 8 years old. It's coming out. It was huge. My parents wouldn't let me play video games for a little while, so I actually had to wait. I had to wait until Silver in order to actually start playing the games. But I knew, watched the show, knew all about it already, and so started with Silver, lost it, got Crystal. I remember when Third Generation came out in early middle school. Then probably dipped out for a little while there after Third Generation, but then when they remade Generation 2, ever since then, I've been full on. New game comes out, I buy it day one, I'm in there.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then.
Yeah, so for me, it was Pokemon was the biggest thing when it came out. I got Red and Blue, played those games religiously. Me and my friend Austin Hinder would go to the swimming pool, and we would, have we would have lunches with grilled cheese sandwiches and just play Pokemon and trade Pokemon, and and that's all we would do. Then the anime was humongous. I remember the episode where Ash died, and yeah, it was a sad moment. It was a very sad moment.
You mean the movie?
No, no, I'm sorry. When Pikachu, I always get those two confused. When Pikachu left, like when he let Pikachu go, he was like because they found a colony of other Pikachus.
Oh, that's right.
And he's like, you can go with your family, Pikachu. And Pikachu's like, Pika, Pika.
That was a really good impression.
It was. Thank you. The card game was humongous for me. Like, it was a phenomenon for me.
I still buy the cards.
Yeah,
they've been doing the anniversary
ones.
re-releases, and I've bought most of those.
I might buy some of those just for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
Power creep is insane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pokemon Red and Blue, and then I was familiar with Silver and Gold because I was very into the, Pokegod cheat codes or whatever they were, the rumors that there were Pokegods and Pikablue and Mew in your game.
You believed all that?
Oh, I did a whole, not to plug
You
my
already
YouTube channel.
covered all this, Trey.
Not to plug my YouTube channel.
This has
but
been covered before.
I did do a video on all the Pokemon myths.
No, the Mew rumor was true.
That's true. That was true. Yeah.
I downloaded the Virtual Console one back in February and did it, and I left it in my car downstairs. But
Oh, no.
I'll show you later. It's
All right.
it's true.
Yeah, it's a real.
Trey.
It's a real.
And-
That is real.
And your video is the
And
definitive
if
source.
we ever have partial recall on it, that's kind of what I kind of want to talk about with them. Is the early '90s video
Late 90s.
game or early and late '90s video game rumor. Just how you had like early internets, but it was still that kind of you talked to friends on the playground, you read on this website, you could get this cheat code, and you had to go here, and then you got some guy on some GeoCities website saying you got to do all these steps to get, Pikablue, and it was just it's just something that will never happen ever again.
I learned something interesting about cheat codes this week, why they exist. Because back in that era of games, it was before the engines, like the creation engines had, really easy GUI tools for debugging. The developers put these codes in here to, instead of having to play through the game to get to a certain point to test something, they would have a code system where they could put in a really complicated code and it would leap them, to this level or to that level so they could test something on the actual version of the game without having to play through it. And then they would also have codes that would give them all the inventory and all the weapons and all the power-ups so they could test everything, basically.
That's
And then
interesting.
people caught wind of
Yeah.
certain ones, and that's how it started.
So you press a certain button combination and a debug menu pops up. All that.
Essentially. It's cool stuff.
That's cool stuff.
Game Shark.
That's video game 101 right there.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thanks.
We should make that a podcast. Dabbing right there. So yeah, my whole story, then we'll get into Sun and Moon, is I played, Red and Blue. I want to say I played Gold and Silver, but I don't remember too much about that. And then I played the N64 games like Stadium and Pokemon Snap, and then I kind of fell off until X and Y. I remember I was working at Angelica, and some of the people there were really hyped for it, and I'm like, oh, okay. I was worried that I wasn't really going to get into it. I thought, I haven't played it in so long that it's going to be a whole different experience, and that I just won't get into it, and I played X and Y and loved it. I really loved it, and very accessible. They were... it was like going back to something old but well polished and different and improved. And so I mean, they announced Sun and Moon, and I was kind of tired out, I guess, from X and Y, but I think they really nailed Sun and Moon. I think X and Y, some of the issues X and Y had were the story almost overtook the game, where I feel Sun and Moon, the story is kind of on the back burner, which I think for a Pokemon game, you kind of need to do that.
Yeah.
I just don't think the story really matters that much in the Pokemon games because it's your story, you're the character.
It's your characters that you learn to love throughout the game.
Yeah. It's about the characters, not the actual plot.
Right.
I think what I'm trying to say. Because there's a difference between story and character arcs and your plot. The last game, there was a plot. There was that weird, tall, 1,000-year-old giant guy and the mystical Pokemon that were going to end the world. And this one, it seems like, you're on
you moved
Hawaii,
here,
and and you moved from the island in the original game,
right.
The city from the original game.
You moved from Japan to Hawaii, essentially.
Yeah. And I mean, just the feel of it's really good. I enjoyed it. I guess we're kind of going into Sun and Moon. So what were your guys' initial impressions?
When the stuff first started coming out throughout the year, because this was the year of Pokemon. Well, last year was 2016 was.
Yeah,
they had
definitely.
The whole year they had stuff released, and it was great. It was the greatest year ever. And
some would differ.
We won't get into it. That Obama stuff. The initial stuff that came out, I was a little skeptical on. I don't know why.
It felt like too soon.
Yeah.
First of all,
it looked a little wacky.
Yeah,
too, and I wasn't into that so much.
I was nervous.
Yeah,
I was really nervous.
So was I. I definitely was nervous.
The island stuff didn't really grab me. I didn't like the kind of the looks of the certain Pokemon. I didn't like the starters. I thought the starters weren't very good. I thought X and Y nailed the starters.
Yeah,
like the Greninja was just badass. I love Greninja.
I'm going to counterpoint. I like that. I like the Sun and Moon starters a lot.
You do?
I had a very difficult
They
choice.
simplified them,
which
is good. I think I liked the Sun and Moon starters.
I guess
better.
What were your starters? What did you start?
I chose Rowlet.
Yeah.
I'm Team Pop Leo.
What was the cat? The kitty cat?
No, that's Litten.
Litten? I played Litten.
It's the
Oh,
seal.
good. We all chose a different one.
Yeah, we did.
That's good.
Because I named him Thundercat.
I saw
his
good.
final form, and he looks like a Thundercat.
It kind of does.
That's how good they are.
Yeah, so I was a little nervous at first, and then I started seeing some of the reviews, and they're like, hey, this is really good. And then I got it, and maybe my bar was just set low or something, or it's just a really good game. But I was pretty blown away at how good it is. Basically, how good of a game it is. It's really polished. It works really well. It's just simple. They've taken all the good stuff from X and Y and trimmed the fat and made a really polished, smooth running game that doesn't get ahead of itself, kind of like the plot in X and Y did.
Yeah,
they've nailed a lot of the things when the previews started coming out of no more gyms, of totem Pokemon. Pardon me, fellas.
This is first podcast. Sorry,
a little under the weather, Trey.
You're good.
Take it
You're
easy.
fine.
Yeah, God,
Trey. No. Just don't worry. You're nervous. You're nervous. Come on. You're good.
And different forms of already existing Pokemon, and those took a lot of people by surprise, but they nailed every single one of those new things that came out.
They all work within the context.
They all
of
work
the,
really
of
well.
the game.
The totem Pokemon function as kind of more traditional JRPG style boss battles as opposed to gyms, and they worked great. I loved the totem battles. They were challenging.
They were different each time.
Without being, too hard on you, I guess, without being total walls. They each had their own scripted AI to work. The totem Pokemon and its helper Pokemon would work together. They just felt like they were boss battles. They were true boss battles, and it was great. Instead of just another trainer battle with trainer AI, you kind of had stronger, smarter Pokemon to fight against, and I like that a lot. They nailed it.
So for the uninitiated, the way a Pokemon game works is, instead of levels like in a traditional Pokemon game, you move from city to, or in a traditional game, you move from city to city in a Pokemon game, and there's a gym there with basically a very powerful trainer who you have to defeat to move on to the next city. In Sun and Moon, you're basically in Hawaii, and they haven't established a Pokemon League there yet, is kind of the story. And so they have their own traditional kind of replacement for gyms. You have to go from each island to each island and defeat a certain number of trainers, and then go through a challenge and defeat a totem Pokemon at the end of each one. So that's basically how it works. Trey, what did you think?
I thought it was I didn't get that far, but I did enjoy the island. I liked how they mixed it up, because Nintendo is very infamous for keeping things very much the same. And it's kind of cool to see that they mixed it up this time, made it a little more fresh. I enjoyed, I did enjoy that aspect of it.
It's much more free. I think it breaks free of the rigid kind of gym structure.
I definitely, I felt
a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
for sure.
It was more relaxing playing. I felt.
It is, yeah. You didn't feel like the world was ending or anything.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, hey, you're new here. Why don't you get initiated?
And I didn't think how much I would like this sort of island kind of Hawaiian setting either. It was a cool.
It worked really well.
It worked really well, and it was very upbeat, almost a little too upbeat. I didn't like how your rival is like this dude, bro. You're just kind of chilling with,
I hated How.
How?
He's always just putting his
bro.
arms up.
Hey, man.
That freaking Alolan Raichu.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
With the puffy tail and the Raichu.
Oh, I like the design.
Yeah.
It was a total pain in the ass to fight. Oh.
I liked how the Elite Four, the Team Rocket or the Team Skulls is just sort of like a joke.
Yeah,
They were
kind of
just
a nuisance.
Absolutely hilarious.
Oh my god, they're great.
Team Skull was so funny
because they're just so over the top, and no one takes them seriously.
Because that was the idea behind Team Rocket initially.
Yeah.
It was just kind of this annoyance in the background that would always try to take you down, and they couldn't.
They were more mafia-like.
Yeah.
These guys are kind of an unorganized gang.
Yeah.
Because in the last few installments, the rival team, the evil team, was way too serious. And got to you. This was just kind of like here we go again.
They were cults and religions.
Yeah.
Just about in the previous
These were just
ones.
wayward kids who wanted to take your money.
Your lunch money.
Oh, they're that's so over top with their rhymes and their lingo and their crazy arm movements and eyes going all the time. They were awesome.
So I got to go do something quickly, but I guess talk about your favorite aspects of the game.
Right, you can't just leave in the middle to go masturbate.
Why I have to. So talk about, I guess, just your favorite
an
parts of
emergency.
the game so far.
Okay.
You've been playing, maybe how long you've been playing, and all that fun stuff. I'll be right back.
I'm just. Hey Trey, can you talk in here real quick?
Absolutely.
I'm just totally lost. Okay, he's finally gone.
Finally, now we can
Now we can
actually
dish.
have a podcast.
So I hate Trey. Trey sucks. He'll never hear any of this. So
And I had a long list of things for him to improve on in 2017 because it is a new him.
Oh, it's long, I'm sure.
I gave him a list and I'll show it to you and you could add to it for
okay.
sure.
Oh, I have some stuff to add for
Yeah,
sure.
he needs to kind of turn things around.
He really does. in a lot of aspects.
He hasn't even beaten Sun and Moon yet.
I know. I haven't either. I've been taking it super slow.
But you're at least.
Yeah, I'm on the final island right now.
Yeah. You think Trey even knows what like a Salandit is?
No, I think he's reading through some sort of script
Yeah.
he wrote before. Were you able to catch a female Salandit?
So I played through the game blind up to a very far point, up until I beat the Elite Four, actually.
Did you catch a male one?
Yeah, I caught and attempted to raise for a while a male one. Finally, around level 20, I think I got to the upper 20s. I figured it dropped out of my party kind of naturally.
Yeah.
But I also was kind of thinking, shoot, why hasn't anything happened yet?
Yeah.
While these other upper 20 Salazzles are running around. It's like, I want that. How do I get that? And I didn't notice that they happen to be all female.
Yeah, I tried to play blind as well, and I accidentally caught wind of that, and so I went out and dropped my male one, and people were like, some people didn't even believe the female ones existed because they were so rare. But
And when I eventually went back to catch it, yeah, it took forever.
it was the second one I found, so I guess I just got super lucky. But it's still in my party right now, and its special attack is so high, and I have a really good special fire move, and it's just
What
pretty nice.
was your party? What are you using?
So I didn't play my party very well this time, and I have a lot of stuff that's weak to fire, electric, and rock. I have a lot of flying,
Electric
and a
killed
lot
me.
of bug. Yeah, electric was brutal. I had Rowlet. I got Pick a Peck. I got Rockruff, who is my highest leveled right now, just because I have to go to him just to beat everything. And then I got I have a Rabombi, and I caught a Finian, and I think that's my whole team. Yeah, so it's weak to a lot of stuff.
I used Lumineon in Generation 4. I remember it just being terrible, but at the same time, it was great. At
Yeah,
the same time,
I
it's
can't let it
weird.
go.
It did the job.
It does what it needs.
In
to do.
game anyway.
Yeah.
So what was that? 4 or 5? That
I
was
think
5.
that was only 5. Who am I missing? Someone who's not very important, I guess.
Did
who'd
you
you-
run with 5.5?
No, I fill it up as quickly as I can. I've had 6 the whole time. Who'd you pick?
Let's see. I ran with what I call 5.5.
Uh-huh.
I eventually ended up with 5 and then kind of
Rotate.
rotated the last spot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Poplio, which evolved into Primarina.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had a Drifloon, which I wasn't planning on using. I didn't plan on anything,
Uh-huh.
and it stuck around. It was just so useful and just had so much HP. And
Yeah.
it came in such handiness that I just had to keep it around. Now I love it because I love Drifblim also.
Yeah.
Let's see. I also used Mudsdale as well.
Nice.
Mudsdale is an awesome tank, and it's so useful
Mhm.
and strong. Ended up using a Mimikyu,
Okay.
and it's, I think, the highest level thing I have now, just because of how versatile it is.
2 ghosts. That's
Yeah, that's
Strong
2
move there.
2 ghosts. Yeah, it's pretty spooky.
yeah.
But Mimikyu is fantastic. Disguise is such a great ability,
Mm-hmm.
and it would guarantee Thunder Waves. So
Yeah.
it got heavy use for sure. And then the last thing, number 5, Oranguru,
Really?
nicknamed Harambe, of course.
Do you have sun or moon?
RNG. I'm a moon man.
Okay. So I haven't seen any.
So you got Passimian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oranguru was nice.
Yeah.
I like that as well. You call mine stored power. He mind blasts things.
Yeah.
And then the last spot was kind of Alolan Sandslash,
Yeah.
which was a little disappointing.
Really?
Kind of disappointed in it.
Ice isn't a very.
It had to rely on Icicle Spear,
Mm-hmm.
and just it wasn't as durable as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Between that, the Alolan Golem, which is hilariously awesome.
All the hair.
It kicks ass. It launches rocks from like
Yeah.
a cannon. It's awesome, and a Furo,
Nice.
because it's good for a quick attack or two before, taking one attack
Right.
back, and now just about do it.
Now I know I know what it's like to face Mimikyu because that was my hardest trial to
Totem.
beat for some reason. It kept using play rough, and it would just knock all mine out in one.
And it
hit
had the
every time.
support haunter using
Yes,
hypnosis,
That
spamming
was
hypnosis.
That was ridiculous.
That was really annoying. At least you didn't use. One of my friends was talking about how he used his Z move on the first turn,
Mm-hmm.
and it just hit disguise. He didn't know that disguise existed.
I did that a
So
few times.
Z move does 0 damage. It's like, the disguise is busted. It's like, what
Yeah,
the
the
heck
best-
just happened?
The best is when you use a Z move and it does the whole big movie and the opponent gets thrown around and blown up and exploded and crushed and then it goes down either like one tick or it's like no effect.
Not very effective.
Oh, look who's back.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey,
You guys are having a good conversation.
we talked about you.
What'd you say?
That's right.
Said you're a sack of shit.
Well, as far as the totem battles, though, the grass one was brutal. That one nearly
Was that
wiped
the one
me out.
with?
In the forest?
In the forest? The name of the Pokemon is failing me. Right now.
Lorantis.
Yes.
That took me forever.
And the worst part of it is the supporting Pokemon,
who was it?
the cast form.
That's right.
The cast form was hell.
It was just this wild goose chase of just following every time I'd
It's like, oh, the
switch one
sun's out.
Yeah.
Go, go. No, I ended up having to cheese the battle, pretty much. I had Drifloon spam double team
Uh-huh.
and stockpile and charge beam until he
Jeez.
couldn't hit me, and my special attack was so high that it didn't matter
Mhm.
anymore what I attacked with. It did decent damage,
Nice.
but everyone else was wiped out. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
such a tough battle for me.
Well, it's good. I like how these totem battles were pretty difficult, and you had to
And
use.
really, depending on your party, you could get
Yeah.
really different experiences.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because this game probably a little easier than the last few.
Yeah, they definitely.
I'd say there were some difficulty spikes.
Oh yeah, they were
though.
they were
There were
definitely
some battles, Hapu,
because I think
Oh, yeah.
we haven't.
Canyon, that absolutely, completely crushed me.
Mhm.
I whited out or blacked out or whatever it is multiple times.
I think we have a disagreement on the XP share. I like it, but I can see why people don't like
Just
it.
seems so.
Cheap.
I turn that off the
cheap.
Yeah.
second I get it.
Yes.
Because
The very
I
second.
did see myself just using one Pokemon over and over and just spamming the
Yeah.
just whatever attack is the most powerful. And so yeah, I agree. It's a little bit cheating, and you kind of neglect your other Pokemon.
Yeah, and it's also if you don't use the XP share, you're able to see which Pokemon you like and which ones work. Because you'll see like, oh, all these are, 4 of my party are up in the 20s already, and this guy's at 9, and this one's at 12. These two clearly aren't. I never use them or they don't do well. I'm gonna dump them. And
It's more
Yeah.
natural.
I did like
Yeah,
also
true.
that the TMs were relegated to a little device instead of
oh, the HMs.
the HMs. I'm
With
sorry.
the ride Pokemon
I'm
instead
a-
of having an
Yep.
HM slave.
Yeah, I don't know why I said TM.
That was
Yeah,
nice.
that-
Because that
was-
was always the pain in the ass in the other games where it was like, okay, well I need this Pidgeot, and
Yeah.
my
A what?
Pidgeot, my
A
Pidgeot,
what?
my Pidgeot, and my crew because I need to fly, and then this
Well,
Pokemon-
the original purpose of the HMs is to stop your progress until you complete something.
Mhm.
And now they've completely integrated that into the ride Pokemon system,
yeah,
and it serves the exact same purpose without all the kind of old hassle
hmm
that they were. It serves the same purpose. They did a good job of that as well.
yeah, I think it definitely is easier, which some people don't like, but I think the cool thing nowadays is people you can play Pokemon in so many different ways. Like I really like the Nuzlocks people do, which if you're not familiar with Nuzlocks, the correct me if I'm wrong, but the rule is it just pretty much almost like it's a challenge you could do. You catch the first Pokemon you see at every every road, I guess every area, and you can't catch any more. If your Pokemon dies, it's dead. If it faints, it's dead. You can't revive that Pokemon back. No share, and I think that's it, unless I'm missing anything. It's pretty much so you can only catch one Pokemon each place you go, and when they're dead, they're dead. You have to release them.
They actually die.
Yes, when they die in the game, they die in real life.
Moment of silence for all the shinies lost in Nuzlocke runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Nuzlocks are really fun to watch, and I mean, if you want a challenge, it's really fun to do. it could last, maybe maybe a few hours, or you could beat the whole game probably doing that. So I mean, there's definitely ways people can make their own difficulty, but I think it's very accessible. I think that was the fear I had going into X and Y was the accessibility. I was thinking it would be this whole different game with all these different things that I'd have to learn and it just wouldn't be for me. But I mean, if that's what you're afraid of going into this game, I mean, it's very accessible, especially this one. Very accessible. It feels like a Pokemon game. You start off the same way in a house, and you got your instead of a SNES, you got a Wii, which is kind of a
You got a Wii U.
got a Wii U.
Yeah.
And every time you go up to it, look, it's a Nintendo Wii U.
There are
and
no
like
games
even
for this.
in Team Skull's
Where
lair
are the
in
third
Potown,
party games?
Rare.
it's
Yeah.
it's we see what you're doing, Nintendo.
Wait, what do they do with Team Skull's lair?
In Team Skull's lair, they have Wii U's hooked up to the TVs in there.
They don't have Xboxes there.
No,
They don't have Sony PlayStation.
they don't exist in that world.
They should have the Sony PlayStation Super Nintendo hybrid.
The one that never came out.
Yeah, they should have those at Team Skull's
Alternate
house.
storyline.
No,
Oh, yeah.
they should give them Xboxes. Just
Yeah,
you don't want to
they're
be
evil.
you don't want to be this wasted youth.
Yes.
Buy a Wii U. Don't
Buy
get,
an X.
don't get that Xbox One. You'll
Right,
end up like
I think
these
you
kids.
might get more bang for your buck with an Xbox One.
Do we have to go over this every single time? It's not the NX anymore.
Did I say an X
Yes, you
again?
did.
Well,
Like the 8th episode in a row.
it's such a great name. It's so good. We should have kept it that way.
Well, you can still call it that.
I'm gonna call it the Switch when we get the announcement next week that you'll be here next week, right?
No, sorry, Trey. Going on my first ever bachelor party trip. Yeah.
Who's the bachelor?
My friend Spencer, he's getting married.
Oh, I know.
You know
no.
Spencer? You know,
Yeah.
well, if as long as you know a Spencer, that still counts.
I don't know a Spencer.
He's getting married to some white lady.
a white woman.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Good
we're
work,
going
son.
to Keystone.
Is
to go.
Spencer the goofy looking one?
Perhaps.
Have I met Spencer?
Maybe.
Is he the one with the I don't know, you got like, is he one of your roommates?
No.
Okay,
Oh,
never
you're
mind.
thinking of the bald guy.
No, I'm thinking the other goofy looking guy.
I guess all my friends are just weird.
All your
looking.
friends are weird, but I love them all.
Well, we're going to Keystone to hit the fresh pow.
Hit the pow, bro.
Yeah, hit the pow.
Yeah.
I skied once when I was in 8th grade, and we'll see
Oh,
how
no.
I do.
Oh no.
So,
So you won't be here for the NX reveal?
no, I want you to bury me with a Switch.
I will.
If I die, I want you to keep my body out until March 2017.
I'll buy a Switch for you and bury it with you.
Hey, good news! Did you see Laura Dale says Zelda
It will come out.
will come out in March?
I think we're gonna have to do a Switch review.
live show.
I want to do a live show, but I also want to do a review of that and a review of Zelda.
Okay.
Because I think this is what I know this is still in the middle of our Pokemon review, but I mean, what I would like to do is
Straight a little off topic.
we're a little off topic here. I would like to next review we do is Resident Evil 7, and that would be, I guess, our February thing.
Okay.
And then March we can do the NX stuff.
Okay.
And then actually, wait a minute. I want to do Horizon Zero Dawn, so that's gonna be
Is
February.
that February as well?
That's February 28th.
Is that a PlayStation exclusive?
It is the PlayStation.
Is that Valentine's Day?
Have fun reviewing that,
All right.
Trey.
On Valentine's Day?
Yeah. No, not on Valentine's Day. It's 28th or 18th. I
Oh,
don't know.
see, I don't know when Valentine's Day
Oh,
is.
no,
I don't need.
Darian.
I don't need to.
Wait, what? Isn't your girlfriend gonna be upset when you don't bring her anything on Valentine's Day?
Better not be.
Okay. Good.
Darian doesn't have a girlfriend.
That's right.
And neither do you, Trey.
No.
So it's perfect.
Been suggested.
It has been suggested.
Okay. You
Darian.
don't have to make it like a sexual
Trey.
thing. You could just.
No, it's bros.
You guys are
Yeah.
wearing matching jackets,
We are wearing matching jackets today.
but somehow
Wow.
not the same.
No, not the same
company.
brand.
Oh, Trey, what brand are you wearing over there?
Just a brand that I have.
Oh, is that Vineyard Vines?
No, it's
Oh, cool. I didn't know that
Some-
you
some
have any
cheap
Vineyard
brand.
Vines clothes.
Yeah.
Some cheap ass brand.
Some cheap ass brand. Anyway, it's very accessible to the general population. I mean, you have to buy a Nintendo 3DS. which I was listening
Do it.
to. I'll just call him out. Not a podcast. That's
Ooh.
Fahey and Mino and Justin, and they were kind of talking about Pokemon Go, and they were talking about how they they didn't know Pokemon was still a thing. At least Mino didn't. Mino didn't know Pokemon was still a thing.
You didn't know the IP existed still?
Yeah, he thought it was Pokemon Red and Blue. That was it. And then Pokemon Go was some nostalgia thing.
I'm so. How do you just blank out of?
Did they cryogenically freeze him when he was a kid?
Yeah, like how do you
I
just
don't
blank
think
out?
Does that
of
explain
but,
his-
dude, but don't make fun of him. He's
Does
just
that
a
explain
regular,
his youthful looks?
He's just.
What was that noise?
He's playing Pokemon Go. I just no. I think it's.
What
I
we got
think
right
more
here.
people are like him than us.
Oh,
And
it's
Justin
hard.
said the same thing. More people are like him than us.
It's okay.
Where it's Pokemon was a thing when you're a kid,
It's
and
okay,
then you just
Mino.
kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, but
I
like,
kind of forgot about it too, but not like totally forgot about it. I still knew there were new games coming out, like Ruby and Sapphire,
Yeah.
remember those. But yeah, I think most people are like that, where they think they don't know that this game is out. Though there have been, I guess the sales show otherwise.
yeah.
That this is what the
Go
best selling
reminded a
game
lot of people that
Yeah.
it still exists, and hey, there are new games also.
Yeah. What were the sales figures that this was the best selling game this month or this year, or we're gonna have to do some hardline
God, we
fact
gotta do
checking
some
on this?
research. and
Do the
shit.
research
Do the research. You want to do the research, Darian, online like we did?
online.
Who wants to do the
I'll
research?
do the research online like we did.
Okay. Go look it up.
Oh, right now.
Yes, right now. God damn it, Austin.
I agree with you how accessible this one was. I feel if you either already had a 3DS or someone got one for you, or God forbid a
They're
2DS.
not that expensive.
Yeah,
I
feel
think I got mine for $100, like a new one with the
Yeah.
Zelda imprint on the top. No, it might have been $200.
I have one of the Majora's Mask ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wish I got the Majora's Mask one.
Very nice.
I feel like it was easy to play if you were just getting back into Pokemon.
Oh, it's very
And-
easy. It's yeah.
Like you try to go into X and Y and as a non-player for a while, and I feel like you get overwhelmed with the story. You don't follow it. The story here is, hey, go to each of these islands and battle these certain people.
Yeah.
It's great.
And also, I mean, all the red and blue Pokemon are there, and they have like different spins with their style. But I mean, I was catching Ghastlies at the beginning
Yeah.
of the game. It was, and you got a lot of cool Pokemon at the beginning of the game as well. It wasn't like they just put I mean, there were like Rattatats and what's that one weasel who looks like Donald Trump?
Well, that's a new one.
That's a Gumshoes.
It's a
Yeah.
Gumshoe.
I got shiny Gumshoes.
I
You
got
did?
a Gumshoe.
Yeah.
I've been playing for 20 years, never ran into one shiny.
Man.
No, me neither.
I think I'm at
I've never got a shiny.
5 now.
Got a red
natural
Execute.
anyway.
I did name my Gumshoe Donald Trump though.
Real creative.
I am very creative.
He has pink hair.
He does have pink hair.
Well, the shiny one does.
Yeah.
My shiny one.
Yeah. But yeah, it was I was if you remember those old Pokemon, you can catch those old Pokemon. They got some, cool new ones.
They got some of the middle ones.
Those middle ones.
Though
Ro-
there's one thing that drives me nuts though.
Yeah.
Is I'm trying to catch a wild Pokemon and it calls for help, and then it becomes
Yes.
impossible to aim.
Yeah.
that's-
And there's like that, and they keep calling for help, and you can never get out of the battle.
I know.
Yeah, that's
I-
ridiculous.
SOS battles, they have their function, though. They
Mhm.
have the next level function. It has to do with EVs,
Shinies.
and you get more better chances for shinies. You get more EVs as the battle goes along. Different Pokemon will show up depending on the circumstances. So I liked SOS battles in that it can add an extra layer to regular wild Pokemon battles.
I thought that was cool too.
But man,
I'm trying to catch.
there are occasional times where I'm trying to catch this one Pokemon. I don't care about anything else, and then it summons something.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
Trey, if I put two dogs 10 feet in front of you, like 5 feet apart, and gave you a soft rubber ball to toss at one, could you hit the one I tell you to throw it at?
Maybe.
No, it's impossible to aim.
No.
If there are two in front of you, it is impossible to aim.
It is
Yes.
Impossible.
impossible.
It's a strong word.
Do you think this will be ported onto the Switch?
It sounds like there's something like that planned.
Yeah, they said there's like a Pokemon game planned, but
Yeah. And I wonder if the 3DS will be the last handheld, and they'll just go hybrid from here on out.
Until this fails and they go back to the hybrid and put all their big software on the PlayStation.
Try to pull that barrel out of your mouth. Perk up a little bit.
I mean, there's a report that Mass Effect Andromeda is not going to be on the Switch.
Was there ever a report that it was going to be?
But wasn't the whole thing that, hey, this is the new Nintendo and we'll get all these third-party games on here that you all want? I mean, that was sort of the mantra, right?
Yeah, but
what is Mass Effect?
Who wants new Mass Effect?
Yeah.
The third, I thought everyone hated the third one.
Everyone hated the ending of the third one.
Okay, well that's the last part you see.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone hates it.
Yeah. You walk away with a sour.
I am playing the first one right now. Yeah.
The second one is free right now.
It is. Go buy it.
Yep.
On the Steams.
Yep.
No, where is it? On Unity? I think it's free.
I think so.
Yeah. No, I'm actually playing that for a video. I want to get.
Okay.
Yeah. A little sneak peek.
Where can we find this video?
On the YouTubes. We'll get to that at the end.
I'm serving you a soft ball
We'll
to
get
plug
to that. We'll plug it at the end. This isn't where we plug things. We're doing a podcast right now, Darian.
He's an amateur. He's an amateur.
You don't plug throughout?
No. You don't want to distract people from the podcast.
So what about Mass Effect?
It's not going to be on the Switch. Which, I mean, it's, you're not going to buy a Wii U to play, or you're not going to buy a Switch to play third-party games.
Right.
But there should be third-party exclusives, and I'm not saying Mass Effect. All I'm saying is that's maybe not the best thing. It's maybe not the best sign. I think if that's anything, it leans negative for the Switch. That one big AAA game is not going to be on there.
Uh-huh.
Red Dead's probably not going to be on there.
But is there any indication that it's going to be?
I think they might have said that it's not going to be.
I mean, it's different if a big, huge confirmed game is then like, we're canceling this. But if it's like there was one rumor floating around and they're like, oh, hey, no, we're never going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to cool your jets, man.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see next week.
Yeah.
It's the 12th.
Yeah.
You're not going to be here?
Nope. Well, I'll be in.
You'll be skiing on the weekends?
No, I'll have just landed, so I'll gather all my buds around and we'll watch it.
Okay. So I guess, what was I even talking about? Oh, it being on the Switch. Yeah. They said that there was going to be some kind of Pokemon thing on there.
And I wonder if when the 3DS dies and if they go to the Switch fully, I wonder if the next game will be on.
See, I don't know when it's going to die, because isn't there something, the Pikmin game's coming on the 3DS,
That's
and then...
And the sales are huge in Japan for this system.
Yeah, same with Vita. Sales in Japan are just...
They love handhelds.
Handhelds in general are huge, because they all use the train.
Right.
Because they're all very mobile, and they have good transportation, so they're always using public transportation.
Well, if they're all mobile, wouldn't they be playing Mobile Strike and
they are playing
Army
mobile
of
games
Vikings?
Too. They're playing
and,
mobile games. They're playing Vitas. They're
Clash
playing
Royale.
Like it is, it's big there.
Angry Birds.
Like the Xbox is selling terribly in Japan.
But here in America, we like to sit down on our couches.
We do, and our fat asses.
And eat cheeseburgers and play console games.
Yes. I don't even like to move like in a vehicle. Like I just want to sit still. I don't even want to be moving. I don't want to be on the train. That still counts as moving.
I want to lie. I don't even like sitting. Sitting makes me tired. I want to lie down. I just want to have the TV above me and lie down like that.
That makes me tired too. I just want to be in space where I don't have to do anything. I can just float. And the sweet, sweet grip of death will finally take me, Trey.
That would be a beautiful day.
I know.
So what are your, final impressions? What would you say to someone who wants to buy it? What your positive, negative final impressions?
I would say
all that.
I can't really think of any negative impressions of it. I think new and old will like it alone. Like new and old players will each like it. I don't know if it's enough to go out and buy a 3DS, but they're not that expensive, like you said.
No.
If you already have one, it's a must buy. I'm gonna give it 65,000 thumbs up out of 70,000 thumbs up.
Okay. Darian?
Yeah, overall, it really blew away my expectations. For what one thing I will say is that I felt like there was a lot of dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of tempers my enthusiasm to play through the game again.
A lot of exposition in the beginning.
Because then you have to go through all the dialogue again.
Right.
And these aren't skippable cutscenes. this is an RPG
Mm-hmm.
from Japan.
Yeah, the
Understand.
tutorial was really long, and that's the one thing I'm kind of
a bit of a slow start, but
Yeah.
you can play this game in so many different ways. You can have such variety in your party that I would play it again
Mhm.
through. Absolutely, just the dialogue could be a bit much.
Mhm.
I think it's challenging. It really took me away. I am kind of at the point where you beat the Elite Four. You know, you get to the battle tree if you like an extra challenge. The point that happens in every Pokemon game where you say, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You always reach that point.
You can either do the extra stuff they've given you, like the battle tree, or you can try to catch all of them. And
Or you
then-
could try to catch them all, which is
Yeah.
I'm
Gotta
trying
catch
to
them all.
You gotta
them all.
catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
That rule should be strictly enforced.
Mhm.
Gonna be
So depending if
very
you want to catch them all, if you want to challenge the battle tree, if you want to play others competitively, you could do any of those things, and you can make this game last absolutely hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah.
hours.
I've squeezed a month and a half out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great game up until that point also. So I give it gets 2 Darian thumbs up of approval.
2 Dorian thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I haven't played it as much as you two, but I've enjoyed what I've played because I was expecting not to be at all into it because I still feel just because I played both X and Y, and I had at that point I had so much free time that I could, and yeah, I just felt almost burned out by Pokemon. But man, this game was really, really charming, really joyful. I really had a fun time playing that. Darian, what are you looking at?
If I could add one more thing.
Yeah, sure,
If I could add one more thing.
sure.
I think the soundtrack
Yeah.
is the best.
It's
of
pretty great.
Any Pokemon game. Maybe one has so many just iconic songs in it,
Mm-hmm.
but
that
that Trey can recall even to this day, and so can I.
That's still the theme song.
Yeah, that's great.
But
Yeah, it's great.
Generation 7 Sun and Moon music is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
they've-
really varied and it's catchy and it's fun.
I really want to pull that and play it for like sound beds just to see because I really like video game music that just doesn't sound like video game music, and so I could use it for beds. So like no, none of the host will recognize it, but I'll get tweets like, oh, that was this. Yeah, good job. So
Like I can't recall hardly any tunes
Yeah.
from Generation 6 X and Y.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. It just didn't. It seemed kind of bland. So this music was fantastic. It really stood out. And production value's there in this game. It's very well polished.
The animations are really good too. I think they've made,
It's not perfect. I'd say it's
Mhm.
not perfect,
Yeah.
but
and they took away
a
the
lot there.
fucking circles underneath the Pokemon standing in the
did?
grass, and that is so nice.
Wow.
Now they actually look like they're
actually
in the
there.
environments.
Yeah.
yeah,
because in X and
Full
Y they had
detail.
kind of genericized battle backgrounds, and I like how they've
I
basically
do
built-
like the art style, that 3D art style.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the newer looking Pokemons. I think they're a little too, like, especially the plant types and the fairy types. I think they're just a little too generic looking.
Mhm.
There's so many fucking varieties of hamster Pokemon.
You don't think
that just-
Toucanon is generic
Just
looking?
generic. I'm sorry.
It just looks like a bird. And, like
Yeah, there's a lot of generic looking Pokemon, but I mean, you'll get a really cool looking one here and there.
well, I'd rather too many generic than too many wacky, trying
Right.
too hard.
better than ice cream cones.
Yeah.
Oh no, those are terrible
and
too.
garbage
Keys,
bags,
Clef Key.
keys,
Gears.
Yeah.
and gears. God.
Ice
They
cream.
went back to animals in
And,
this
and
one. That's good.
aliens.
What was the one though? The one that was trying to look like Pikachu that everyone loved
Oh,
on the internet.
Mimikyu.
Mimikyu on Tumblr.
Mickey's great.
I'm
Yeah.
sure that's gonna be on every single T-shirt at Hot Topic in a few
Cosplay.
years. Yeah, cosplay. I know. I bet you there will
I'm
be.
gonna cosplay as Lily.
Yeah.
Get a big old hat.
Just
So yeah, it's accessible. It's a fun game. 3DS. If you don't have it, they're pretty cheap. You can get them for pretty cheap. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think if you are curious, you should get into it because Pokemon is a fun game. It's still fun even today.
Yeah, Mino.
Hey, that's what most people think, and that's kind of what I'm trying to get to on this episode is to get to, the people who just kind of heard about Pokemon Go this year, and they're like, okay, well, Pokemon hasn't been relevant since the 90s. Well, I mean, not to that scale, but it's still been a thing, and it's definitely worth to go back to, I think.
I'd like to clarify something if I could, Trey.
Sure.
I found most people who aren't, mostly aware of Pokemon seem to think either the show came first or the card games came first.
Really?
And the video games were like secondary. So I'd just like to clarify to everybody.
I've never heard that.
Really?
Who said that?
All my normie friends.
Who was that person who said that?
I'll give you a list later.
List. Mike Soroy? Was it him?
Probably.
Damn it.
Yeah, but they all seem to think the show was first. So everyone, the games were first. The show was made to promote the games.
Mhm.
Same with the card game.
Yeah. That's how it always was.
Also, I like how it was video games, and they made a card game so you could kind of play it a different way, and then they made a video game of the card game.
Yeah, he did do that.
When you can just go play the original.
Yeah.
Dude.
All right, well. Is that all? Is that all you guys want to contribute to this podcast?
I just wanted to say, SeatGeek promo code super. Download
Build
SeatGeek.
it. Beautiful.
Getting that cash.
Well, that's another episode of Super GamesCast.
Whoa.
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 No. Unmark that. We're gonna leave that in.
No,
Trey.
that's another episode of Super GamesCast 64.
Trey, talk to me, boy.
That is another episode of Super GamesCast 64. This is on the Blowout Network, who lets us do a podcast every few months. Here we talk about video game reviews. We also do another podcast that's monthly.
What's that one called?
That's called Super GamesCast 64.
Now look up Super Games.
No,
Cast.
it's Super Games Cast, not Game Cast.
That's some other jamooks somewhere else in the country.
Way more successful, and they have sponsors. And oh my god, I hope they don't find this out. That's that podcast. And then you have the Gamecast, which is Kind of Funny Gamecast, and they're actually like even bigger. And I'm a fan of theirs, and they're like really big. So I hope they don't ever find out either.
Well, they can fuck off.
And so that's Super Gamescast 64. That's us with an S. I'm Trey Mitchell. You can find me at CrayTreyVids on Twitter. I do YouTube stuff where I do fun little videos, and I would appreciate all the subs you can give me. Austin Guttery over here. Plug your shit.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter.
Yeah.
At Helen Smeller and at SportsSturm.
Mm-hmm.
You can look for my MySpace. It probably is somewhere in the ether. And I had a Zanga at one point.
I had that too.
I don't know if it still exists.
You know what? My profile was, my life is the 4 Fs. Food, fun,
Faith and family.
females, and football.
Whoa. Okay. You went
Yeah.
the bro version.
I was broed out.
I was going to say friends, faith, family,
Fun.
football.
Ford cars.
And Ford. Yeah. I only
Yes.
drove a Ford. It was Ford Fiesta.
And I
Four-wheel
didn't even
drive.
mention that
F-150, F-250, F-350.
Darian and Austin were in a video together of mine, but they never met each other, even though they're in the same scene.
The
miracle of editing.
magic of non-linear video editing.
That's the magic of editing.
Wow.
That's the magic of continuity and editing. They're in the same scene, but never met each
How
other
did he
till
do
today.
it?
How did he do it? It's amazing.
You have
He's
to
a
watch to find out.
sorcerer.
Gotta watch it. Darian, plug your stuff.
Can I plug my shit?
Plug your shit.
I'm on Twitter, I guess. Darian MCB. That's 2 A's, the correct way to spell Darian.
Darian?
A's together at the end.
Is it 2 M's? Pam or Pan?
Trey's the last person who could ever spell my name right.
I don't know how to spell his name. Dorian?
Dorian
That's
Finney
a callback.
Darian, thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We appreciate you
Really
on
glad.
the podcast.
Really glad. Finally.
We might have to use you again when Austin's on some kind of cruise trip with his
I'm
bros.
hitting the pow.
Hitting the
Anytime.
pow.
Yeah.
Austin, thanks for coming. I think it would be just appropriate for the final song we sing to sing the Pokemon theme song.
Oh, can I do the Poke Rap? I can do the whole thing.
All right, if you can do the whole thing, we don't have to do the Pokemon theme.
Okay.
Wow.
Let's do
Will
this.
you roll it under me in post, or do you want to roll it on there?
Let's roll it on here if you can get the actual sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Team
the
Rocket's rocking.
I don't remember that one.
Well,
I-
to be a master.
I was about to say I had the 2BA master tape.
Yeah.
still
I had
have
that
it.
too, yeah.
What about
I
what
used to
about
listen
the
to that at
Pokemon
night.
first movie soundtrack?
Ah.
I have the novelization of the first movie. Okay.
Man, they botched that translation.
Oh god, we got a
Oh no.
we have a
Yep.
57-second ad. Hold
I'm
on.
getting sick of these ads that are 50 seconds. You can't skip them.
I want to be the best that ever was. To beat all the rest. Yeah, that's my cause. Electro, Diglett, Nidoran, Mankey, Venusaur, Rattata, Fearow, Pidgey, Seaking, Jolteon, Dragonite, Ghastly, Ponyta, Vaporeon, Poliwrath, Butterfree. I did that without the music. Across the land, far and wide, release from my hand the power that's inside. Venomoth, Poliwag, Greenrino, Golduck, Ivysaur, Grimer, Victreebel, Moltres, Nidoking, Farfetch'd, Abra, Jigglypuff, Rhyhorn, Clefable, Wigglytuff. Trey, you got this part. Too bad, Primate, Meowth, Onix, Geodude, Rapidash, Magneton, Snorlax, Gengar, Tangela, Goldeen, Spearow, Weezing, Seal, Gyarados, Slowbro!
Gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all. Pokemon.
Pluto, Persian, Paris, Horsey, Raticate, Magnemite, Kadabra, Weepinbell, Ditto, Cloyster, Caterpie, Sandshrew, Bulbasaur, Charmander, Golem, Pikachu! 150
With more to see, to be a Pokemon master is my destiny.
Alexam, Doduo, Venonat, Macho, Kangaskhan, Hypno, Electabuzz, Flareon, Blastoise, Poliwhirl, Oddish, Drowsy, King, Stormy!
Yeah. Doing great. What's
I'm doing all the hard work!
Dang. Let's go.
Marowak, Kakuna, Clefairy, Dotrio, Seadra, Vileplume, Krabby, Lickitung, Tauros, Weedle, Nidoran, Machop, Shelder, Porygon, Hitmonchan!
Gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all.
Articuno, Jinx, Nidorina, Goldjo, Haunter, Plural, Chansey, Pokemon, Execute, Muck, Dugong, Yoto, Vulpix, Rhydon! I'm losing it. 150
with more to see. To be a Pokemon master is my destiny.
Charizard, Machamp, Pinsir, Coughing, Dotrio, Golbat, Staryu, Magikarp, Ninetales, Ekans, Omastar, Scyther, Tentacool, Dragonair, Magmar.
Yeah.
24 more to go.
Now it gets tricky, so listen real good.
Slash, Hitmonlee, Psyduck, Arcanine, Eevee, Executor, Kabutops, Zapdos, Dratini, Vileplume, Mr. Mime, Cubone, Graveler, Voltorb, Gloom. We're almost home! Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon! Yeah! Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacruel, Aerodactyl, Ammonite, Slowpoke, Pidgeot, Arbok. That's all, folks! Woo! Nailed it. For the most part. Gotta catch 'em all, Pokemon. Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all,
Pokemon.
Bow.